Hello everyone, this is the fourth session of moving charges and magnetism, and the topic I am going to deal with is the magnetic field due to current element. So first I have a charge which is at rest. So if I have a charge which is at rest, this charge produces electric field in the space around it. And as the charge starts to move, say this charge is Q and the charge is now in motion, the moving charge constitutes current I. And also the moving charge is going to produce magnetic field in the space around it, and this magnetic field is produced due to the motion of the charges, or the current carrying conductor is going to produce magnetic field is what we have learned from this chapter. Now Oersted proved this in his experiment. Now if I say this is the current carrying conductor, the direction of current is upwards, and if I place a magnetic compass which is compass needle which is very near to this conductor, then this compass needle is going to show certain deflection. And if I change the direction of the current, then the compass needle is going to change the direction of deflection. So the direction of the current and the deflection of this compass needle are dependent on each other. And here I am going to introduce you to a new quantity which is called as current element. Let me consider a current carrying conductor I. And in this current carrying conductor I, this is the direction of the current. Now I am going to consider a small element here which is dl. Then I into dl is nothing but the current element. As you know, current is a scalar quantity because it does not obey the law of vector addition. Therefore we say current is a scalar quantity. Now when I multiply current with this element I dl, we have considered this dl as a vector quantity. Since current is a scalar quantity, so we have seen here whenever the direction of the current is reversed, the deflection is also reversed. That is why the direction of current should be represented, and that is done using this dl. So dl is considered to be as a vector quantity whose magnitude is nothing but the length of this element, and its direction is same as the direction of the current. So current is a scalar quantity, but dl is considered to be as a vector quantity, and I dl is called as a current element. Now keeping all these things in mind, let us now see what BIOT-Savaart's law says. Now coming to this BIOT-Savaart's law, first I am going to consider a conductor xy, and it is of infinite length. Now in this conductor, I say this is the direction of the current. So I is the current which is flowing in this conductor of infinite length, and I am going to consider a point somewhere here, and that point is P. Now I need to find what is the magnitude and also the direction of the magnetic field at this point P due to this current carrying conductor. So current carrying conductor is producing magnetic field in the space around it. So what will be the magnetic field at this point P is what I am going to find using this BIOT-Savaart's law. Now let me consider a small element at this point, dl. I am considering dl because this conductor whichever I have considered is of infinite length. So when the conductor is of infinite length, I cannot find the magnetic field at this point for the whole conductor. It is difficult for me. So I am just making this conductor, just taking a small piece of this conductor, small element of this conductor, and naming it as dl. This element is taken as length dl. And using this small element, I am going to find the magnetic field at this point P, and that magnetic field will be dB. It is not B, it is dB. The magnetic field strength here becomes dB because it is a magnetic field due to small element dl. Now let me draw a straight line from the element, current element, to the point P. And I am going to name, or the distance is taken to be as the position vector r. And the angle between this current element and the position vector will be considered as theta. As you know, this is a vector, also this is a vector, position vector and a length vector is taken and the angle between them will be theta. Now, according to BIOT law, the magnetic field at this point P is given by dB is proportional to I dl sin theta by r square. So, what are the factors on which this magnetic field is dependent on? The first thing is I is current. It is directly proportional to the current in the conductor. And secondly, the dl, that is nothing but the element, length element. So, I can take this as the length element. It is directly proportional to the length element. And third one, it is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the current element and the point. Therefore, it is inversely proportional to r square. And fourthly, it is also dependent on the angle, that is this theta. So, it is depending on theta, which is the angle between the current element and the position vector r. So, these are the factors on which this magnetic field is depending upon. Now, let me write this dB as, let me remove the proportionality symbol, then dB is equal to multiply a constant k I dl sin theta by r square. Now, this k is nothing but the constant of proportionality whose value for free space is given as mu naught by 4 pi. So, this is the value for free space. Next, what is mu naught? Mu naught is the absolute permeability of free space. Permeability of free space. Mu naught is the absolute permeability of free space. As we know, in case of Coulomb's law, we consider a constant epsilon naught. This mu naught is just similar to it. Now, mu naught is nothing but it gives us the measure of the material, like I have placed this conductor in a free space or in any other medium, then that medium or the material is going to exert certain resistance to the formation of the magnetic field. So, the measure of that resistance for the formation of the magnetic field is what this mu naught is. Now, mu naught by 4 pi has value which is equal to 10 power minus 7. This is the value of mu naught by 4 pi, and let me find out the unit for this mu naught. So, I will take up the formula dB is equal to, instead of writing k, I will write this constant mu naught by 4 pi I dl sin theta by r square. Now, you can look here, I need to know what is the unit for mu naught. Then, what is the unit of magnetic field? It is nothing but Tesla. Tesla is equal to mu naught, I is ampere, dl is measured by meter square. The rest doesn't have any unit. So, meter and meter gets cancelled. The remaining things are Tesla, meter per ampere. So, I am going to write this as Tesla meter per ampere is the unit of mu naught. What is mu naught? Mu naught is the absolute permeability of free space. Now, to write this formula in vector form, I just multiply a unit vector r cap. So, this now is in vector form, or r cap, the unit vector is also defined as vector r by its magnitude. Now, just multiplying that to this, I get dB is equal to mu naught by 4 pi I dl cross r divided by r cube. That is, the magnitude will be multiplied by with this, and this r is going to be a cross product with this dl. So, if I expand this, what happens? I get I dl r sin theta by r cube. So this r and one r in this gets cancelled. I am going to get back this equation. So I can write the equation for this magnetic field in this form. This is the vector form. Now this equation has lot of similarities with the Coulomb's law. What does Coulomb's law say? F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r square. This formula obeys the inverse square law. So does this formula. So you can see both formulas obey the inverse square law. And in case of Coulomb's law, like electric field is for electric field, the charge is a source, and in case of this magnetic field, current element is a source. So they both have more similarities. And next, in this formula, you can see if the point, whatever the point I am going to mark P, is on this current element or on the current carrying conductor, then what happens? So if the point P is marked on this current carrying element, then this theta becomes equal to 0 degree. So I am not taking any r here, just the point will be marked somewhere on this current carrying conductor. So what happens? Theta becomes 0. What is sine 0? Sine 0 is 0. Then the magnetic field also becomes 0. That means if you take a point anywhere on this conductor, the magnetic field there will be 0. There is no magnetic field on this current carrying conductor. So the magnetic field is produced only around the current carrying conductor and not on the current carrying conductor. Next, let us derive a relationship. Let me derive a relationship between epsilon naught, mu naught and C. Let me multiply epsilon naught and mu naught. I will just multiply 4 pi and divide 4 pi here. I have multiplied and divided this equation by 4 pi, so it does not get affected. Then what is 4 pi epsilon naught? The value of 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught is 9 into 10 power 9. Then 4 pi epsilon naught value will be 1 by 9 into 10 power 9 into mu naught by 4 pi is 10 power minus 7. Now this equation can be written as, the value is 9 into 10 power 9 plus 7, that becomes 16, or I can also write this as 3 into 10 power 8 whole square. So epsilon naught into mu naught gives you 1 by c square. So c is the speed of light whose value is approximately equal to 3 into 10 power 8. So epsilon naught into mu naught is equal to 1 by c square. Remember this formula. Next we are going to derive a very important derivation, that is magnetic field at a point on the axis of a circular coil carrying current. Here we are going to use the BIOT-SAVART's law. So this derivation will be asked for 5 marks in your board exam, and it is very important derivation. Now coming to this derivation, I am going to consider a circular coil carrying current. So I have a circular coil carrying current. This is the circular coil in which the current is flowing in this direction. And I will say this has a center O and the radius of this circle is taken to be R. And I have placed this current carrying coil in this direction, that is this coil is facing towards me. I am going to take the help of my bangle. This is how I am facing the circular coil. So this is the circular current carrying circular coil. I am facing it towards me. Now this is the center. What I am deriving is, I am finding out the magnetic field at a point on the axis of the circular coil. Now I will draw an axis for this. So this is the coil. This is how the axis goes. And in this axis, I will mark a point P on the axis of this coil I have taken a point P, and this point is at a distance x from the center of the coil. So from the center of the coil, the distance to the P will be taken as x. Now as we have derived earlier in the BIOT-Sawvart's law, we consider a small current element. Similarly, I am going to consider a small current element here, and this current element will be in this direction. This is dl. So how I am taking the current element is, if this is the coil, then the current element will be taken in this direction, tangential to this surface. So it will be taken like this. This is the coil, I am taking the length, the current element in this direction. Next, the distance from this current element to the point, I am going to draw a line here, and this distance will be marked as r, small letter r. Remember, this capital letter r is the radius of the coil, and the small letter r is the distance from the current element to the point. So if this is the coil, this is the current element, and I am considering the position vector here, and that is this. And you can see they both are perpendicular to each other. They both are perpendicular to each other. This current element and this R will be perpendicular to each other because this is in a different plane. So this is the plane in which I am considering the current element, and you can see the position vector is perpendicular to this plane, and therefore they are both perpendicular. So I can say dl is perpendicular to this r, small r. Next, this is where I am going to find the magnetic field. So first I need to write the direction of the magnetic field here. So what will be the direction of the magnetic field? I am going to use the right hand curl rule. Now I first write the formula here. According to BIOT-Savart law, from this law I know the formula. The magnetic field dB is equal to mu naught by 4 pi I into dl cross r divided by r cube. This is the vector form of the formula. Now from this formula, whatever the magnetic field direction is, it will be perpendicular to the plane containing dl and r. So if it is perpendicular, or I can use the curl rule, right hand curl rule, where I am going to curl my fingers from dl to the r, dl towards r, and see where which direction does my thumb indicates, and that direction is the direction of magnetic field. Now this is the length element, and this is the position vector. They both are perpendicular to each other. Now if I curl my finger in this direction, this will be the magnetic field. That is, this thumb should indicate, it should be indicated in the direction which is perpendicular to both these two vectors. So coming to this, dl cross r will be perpendicular, again perpendicular to dl and r, and it will be inwards. So the magnetic field will be written in this direction. dB will be written in this direction, which is perpendicular to dl and r, and it is inwards. So once again I will explain the direction of dB. So if this is dl and this is r, dl cross r is what the direction of magnetic field is. So this will be the direction of the magnetic field. You can see all the three, dl, r and dB, all the three are perpendicular to each other. I'll write down dB will be perpendicular to dl. Also dB will be perpendicular to r. Don't get confused. Most of the students get confused in this direction, but it's very easy. You just have to see dl and r are perpendicular to each other because this is a different plane. This is the circular coil. dl is tangential to this surface, and R is just perpendicular to that plane. So they both are perpendicular. Now if I just use the curl rule, right hand curl rule, I can see my thumb indicates inwards. That means the magnetic field is acting inwards and it is again perpendicular to DL and also R. So that is how I am going to look at the direction of the magnetic field. Next, I have considered this current element and I am going to take up this angle as theta. Let me consider this angle as theta. Now if this angle is theta and this is the magnetic field dB, I am going to first resolve this dB into two components. One component which is perpendicular, dB perpendicular, and another component along this x-axis, I am going to write it as dBx. Next, for better understanding, I am going to consider one more current element in the opposite direction. So diagonally opposite to this current element, I will take one more component. And due to this component, let me write what will be the direction of the magnetic field. So if this is again R, the magnetic field will be pointed in this direction, which I am going to write as dB dash. Now resolve this again. One component is dB perpendicular and another dBx, which is along the x-axis. You can see here this component and this component gets cancelled because they are in the opposite direction, and if you look at the magnitude of this components, the magnitude will be the same because the distance between them is also the same. Therefore, these components dB perpendicular and dB perpendicular dash will get cancelled. Their magnitude and the magnitude is same and they are in the opposite direction. So the perpendicular components get cancelled and only we are going to sum the components which are along the x-axis because they are pointing in the same direction. Now coming to some other component here. Let me take another component here. Even this component will have a perpendicular component and the component along the x-axis. Similarly, I am going to take a component which is diagonally opposite to this element. Then even this element will have, this current element is going to have a component which is perpendicular and along the direction of the x-axis. Now even these elements component which is perpendicular gets cancelled and only those components which are along the x-axis get summed up. That means throughout this current carrying coil, all the perpendicular components of all these current carrying elements, all these elements, current elements, the perpendicular component gets cancelled and only the components which are along the x-axis will get summed up. So I can write this formula dB is equal to mu naught by 4 pi I. You know the angle between the DL and R is 90 degree because they are perpendicular to each other. I DL by R square because theta is 90 degree here. And this R and 1 R here gets cancelled, therefore this becomes R square. So dB is equal to mu naught by 4 pi I dl by R square. This is the magnitude of the magnetic field at anywhere, any element. If you take any element here, all the elements will have the same magnitude. Nothing is going to change. Now I say I have already told you that the perpendicular components gets cancelled. So the perpendicular components of all these current elements gets cancelled and only the components along x-axis is summed up. So we are going to add only the x components. So let us proceed with this. I have the formula dB is equal to mu naught by 4 pi I dl by R, and from this formula I know r is equal to, the small r is equal to under root r square plus x square. Applying the Pythagoras theorem, I get small r is equal to under root r square plus x square. Substituting that, I'll get mu naught by 4 pi I dl by, this is r square. So this becomes root of r square plus x square whole square is nothing but r square plus x square. So we know that the components which are along the x-axis are going to get summed up. Therefore, dbx is written as db into, so if this is theta, I have taken this angle as theta, then this angle becomes theta because they are corresponding angles. This angle is theta, so this angle becomes theta. Then this perpendicular component is nothing but db cos theta, and the parallel component is db sin theta. From that, dbx is nothing but db sin theta. Now, this is the component of only single current element. I have considered only single element, therefore this is dbx is equal to db sin theta. Now if I add all these current elements, I am dividing this into small elements. If I divide them into small elements, I am going to get so many elements, and if I have to add all of them, I can integrate. So integrating, I am going to get the magnetic field B is equal to integral dbx. So integrating all these components, I am going to get the total magnetic field at the point P due to this current carrying coil. Then this is equal to integral dbx is db sin theta. So first db is, we have the formula here. Let me substitute mu naught by 4 pi I dl by r square plus x square. This is db. Coming to sin theta, what is sin theta? If this is theta, then sin theta will be equal to, sin theta is opposite by hypotenuse. If this is angle theta, then opposite is capital R divided by the hypotenuse can be written as under root r square plus x square. Let us just multiply that here. Sin theta is written as r by under root r square plus x square. Now B will be equal to, let us take out the constants out, then mu naught by 4 pi I into r divided by this r square plus x square into root of r square plus x square, and can be written as r square plus x square whole power 3 by 2 integral dl. Now we are only going to integrate this dl, and all the others are taken out as constants. Now integrating dl, dl is what? It is the element, small length element which I have taken. Now integrating them, what do I get? A complete circle. That means the circumference of the circle, which is nothing but 2 pi r. So this is equal to mu naught by 4 pi I r into r square plus x square whole power 3 by 2. Integration of dl gives me 2 pi r. Now you can write the final equation two ways. You can write this as mu naught by 4 pi into 2 pi I r square divided by r square plus x square whole power 3 by 2. This is one way of writing the equation. Or you can cancel these things. B is equal to mu naught by 2, 2's are 4, pi gets cancelled, 2 into r square plus x square whole power 3 by 2 into I r square. This is other way of writing the equation. We prefer to write the equation in this form because as we know the formula for value for mu naught by 4 pi, which is 10 power minus 7. So this is how we are going to derive this formula, and whatever the final equation I am getting is the magnetic field at a point which is on the axis of this current carrying circular coil. Now let me say that I have the point P at the center of this current carrying circular coil, that is x is taken to be 0. If x is taken to be 0, then I am finding the magnetic field at the center of the current carrying coil. If x is 0, what happens to the formula? B will be equal to mu naught I r square by 2 into this x is completely 0, r square whole power 3 by 2, you will get r cube, square and this cube get cancelled. So the magnetic field at the center of a current carrying coil is mu naught I by 2r. So the magnetic field at the center of a current carrying coil is given by the formula B is equal to mu naught I by 2r. Remember this formula, we will use this while solving the numericals. If I have a linear current carrying conductor, then the magnetic field will be circular. So if this is a current carrying conductor, then the magnetic field will be like this. It will be circular. And if this is the direction of the current, the magnetic field will be in this direction. That is, it is going in and coming out. It goes in this direction and comes out. In, out, which can also be written as, this is, if this is I, then this is into, this is dot. I have already explained, into is, the magnetic field is inwards, that is into the board. It is perpendicular to the board and inwards. This is perpendicular to the board and outwards. So the magnetic field is going in, coming out, going in, coming out. If the direction of the current is reversed, it is in the downwards, then the magnetic field, then my thumb should be indicated in the downward direction, and you can see my fingers, they are curling in this direction. That means it is going into and coming out. So in, out. So this is how I will find the direction of the magnetic field. Now in case the direction, that is the current is circular, these are the currents which I have taken linear. If the current is circular, I have a current carrying wire which is circular and the direction of current is like this. So the direction of current is in this way. Then the magnetic field will be, so curl your fingers in the direction of the current, then your thumb indicates the direction of the magnetic field. The magnetic field will be this direction. So this is how the magnetic field will be. So if the current carrying wire, that is linear, then the magnetic field is circular. If the current carrying wire itself is a circular loop, then the magnetic field will be linear. And a current carrying wire just acts like a magnet. So let me say this is a current carrying wire which is nothing but a circular loop. Here the current is in the anti-clockwise direction. And in this loop, I am going to write the current to be in the clockwise direction. This is anti-clockwise and in this it is clockwise direction. Whenever the current is flowing in the anti-clockwise direction, then that should be taken as the north pole, and whenever the current is flowing in the clockwise direction, then it is represented as the south pole. You can see this is N, this is S. That just means it is north pole and south pole. Now I say this is a current loop, current carrying conductor, which is circular current carrying conductor, and the current is flowing in this direction. So if I look at the coil, the current is in the anti-clockwise direction for me, and for you it is clockwise. So the current will be flowing in this direction. That means it is clockwise for you and anti-clockwise for me. Clockwise means it is south pole, anti-clockwise is north pole. So for me it is anti-clockwise. That means which pole is towards me? That is north pole, and for you it is south pole. That means a current carrying circular coil just acts like a magnet with north and south poles. So in today's class, we have studied about the BIOT law, and also using this BIOT law, we have derived the magnetic field on the axis of a circular current carrying coil, which is very important derivation, and I'll meet you in the next session with a new topic. Thank you.